I do hate to break it to you, but everything you think you know about Brazilian Carnival is probably wrong. And seriously, there's nothing wrong with not knowing the specifics from some foreign holiday or celebration. If you ask me anything about Thanksgiving or Dia de los Muertos or Holi, I'll probably say a whole lot of baloney. Because everything I've learned about these dates, I've learned from movies. And as we know, movies aren't always the most accurate depiction of reality.
Is she a performer?
No, in fact, she's my dentist. Dr. Barbosa!
Oi! Don't forget to floss, Tulio!
In the end, I'll toss in some bonus tips and tricks in case you want to come to Carnival and survive the experience. So let's kick things off with misconception number 1. You think that Carnival is only in Rio. Now, don't get me wrong, Carnival is huge in Rio. But the thing is that Carnival is a nationwide festivity, so in other words, in almost every part of the country you will find some form of celebration. What does vary is the size of the party and the tradition that that specific place has when it comes to Carnival. And in that sense, just to simplify things for the sake of this video, I'm going to tell you that there are 3 major places when it comes to Carnival: Rio, Salvador, and the neighboring towns of Olinda and Recife. Also, it's important to note that the festivities change depending on where you are geographically, incorporating local culture, rhythms, and traditions. So the carnival that you see in Rio will not be exactly the same as the carnival in Salvador, that won't be the same as the carnival in Recife, that won't be the same to the carnival in Belo Horizonte, and so forth. Which leads us to misconception number 2. You think that Carnival is just like the movies. And what I mean by this is that when I see Carnival depicted in either movies or in international news outlets, usually they focus on a very specific kind of carnival that here we call Desfile de Escolas de Samba. And what is Desfiles de Escola de Samba, you might ask? Well, desfile means parade, and that's exactly what happens here. Different escolas de samba, that are basically groups of people, organize themselves all year long to prepare this special parade. So they pick out a theme, they write a new song, also called a samba enredo, and then they prepare costumes, decorations, cars, and when Carnival arrives, everyone gathers at the Sambódromo to watch these parades. Because at the end of Carnival, a jury made out of many specialists will give grades to each escolas de samba parade and choose that year's Carnival winner.
Acadêmico do Salgueiro, 10.
This kind of carnival happens all over Brazil, although it's more traditional in places like Rio and São Paulo. But I should say that not only is it not the only form of celebrating Carnival, I don't think it's the most popular way of celebrating. So, what is Brazilian Carnival really like? Well, most Brazilians take part in a more popular carnival celebration that is known as Carnaval de Rua, or street carnival. And that's basically when people take to the streets to have fun, dance, drink, celebrate in what is called blocos. People do tend to go to these street parties in costumes, although these costumes are much less elaborate than the ones that we see in the desfiles just called Samba. Usually they're more do-it-yourself and they have these humorous undertones. And I feel that once more I should stress that these parties do vary among themselves. They're not all the same. They can change in size, in style, in the kind of music that people listen to, which reminds me of misconception number 3, thinking that Carnival is all about samba. If you ask a foreigner what they know about Brazil, chances are they'll give you 2 words: Pelé and samba. And as a huge fan of samba music, I'm glad it became such a symbol of Brazilian culture abroad. That being said, if you think that in Carnival we only listen to samba, I've got some news for you. Different regions of Brazil have other traditional musical styles that also play a huge role in Carnival festivities. So for instance, in Recife and Olinda we have frevo. In Salvador, you'll see huge crowds dancing to the sound of axé. And that's just giving you 2 very specific examples because there are tons of other musical styles that you'll end up hearing in Carnival. And for the most part, you won't listen to just one type of style played somewhere. The different genres will be mixed together. Oh, and it's also very common in carnival season to see people singing the famous marchinhas de carnaval, that are these very simple, kind of catchy tunes that usually have funny lyrics or puns in them.
Dá chupeta, dá chupeta, dá chupeta pro bebê não chorar.
Oh, I just noticed that I forgot to introduce myself. So if you're new here, I'm Juliana, I'm a Brazilian nomad, and this channel is All Things Brazil. And I hope to show you a bit more about Brazilian life, people, culture, and hey, maybe even clear up some misconceptions, why not? So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, and also if you'd like to encourage me to power through my rusty English and continue making these silly videos, please subscribe, it means a lot. So we've made it all the way to misconception number 4, thinking that carnival happens in a single day. So let's start with the theory. In theory, carnival tends to last for about 4 days. Because the official holiday is on a Tuesday, so people tend to party on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and rest on Wednesday.
Actually, there are some party animals that still have energy and continue partying on Ash Wednesday, but okay, let's just start with the 4 days.
But in practice, in most parts of Brazil, we do have a little something called pré-carnaval, which are basically smaller carnival festivities that happen beforehand. And in some regions, these can start as early as October or even September, like 5 whole months before Carnival. Also, during most of the year, you can go check the rehearsals from the Escolas de Samba, which is basically where they'll train to dance and play their samba hit and all of that. And last, but definitely not least, we're heading to our last misconception, which is the one that just irks me the most, and also is definitely the one that has the most chance of landing you into some hot water. So listen carefully. Misconception number 5, thinking that carnival is a free-for-all. A lot of foreigners have this idea that carnival is the kind of party where you can do basically whatever you want. And sure, carnival is all about freedom and having fun, but seriously, it's only fun if everyone's having fun. So it's really important to respect people. I think the main point that comes to mind in regards to this is when it comes to boundaries on women's bodies. Because unfortunately, there's already this really toxic misconception that Brazilian women are easy or more sexually available than other women. And the result of this is that we see a lot of men being rude or just downright invasive with Brazilian women, particularly during carnival season. And speaking in broader terms, this actually applies to everything, not only women. So bottom line is, have fun, but do respect people and also respect local laws because they still apply during carnival. Don't get arrested. So congratulations, you've made it to the bonus round with some carnival survival tips. Tip number 1, carry with you the least amount of things as you possibly can. Prefer the minimalistic approach. So if you can, leave your phone at home. Also, if you want to go to carnival but you don't have a costume, no worries. Just put on some light, comfortable clothes, dab some glitter and sparkles on your face and you're golden.
Chances are you'll end up going home with bits and pieces of other people's costumes.
And if you can, ditch the flip-flops and instead go with some comfortable shoes, sneakers, something like that. You will be walking, jumping, dancing along a lot of streets. Also, don't forget that carnival is hot. Choose clothes that will allow you to stay cool. On that note, make it a point to drink a lot of water. Drink water before, during, and after carnival festivities. From all the heat and all the dancing and all the jumping and all the alcohol consumption, you will dehydrate faster than you think.
Bebeu água! Tá com sede! Olha, 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 água mineral.
So, how are you feeling now that you are a gringo carnival expert? I do hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to keep it as simple as possible, so I know I didn't get into the specifics when it comes to different carnival traditions. If that's something you would be interested in learning more about, please let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe because, as we say here in Brazil, o dedo não vai cair, né? And I will see you next time. Tchau, tchau.
Tem pouco fevereiro pra muito carnaval. Abre essa avenida, não me queira.